Hey folks, JodoCast again, and this time I've got a mod to do. This is for my own personal use, pleasure, etc. Something that I've wanted to do for a while. I've managed to sort of get all the bits and pieces together. I've had parcels arriving from far afield, so I think I've now got everything that I want to do this build that I've had planned for a little while. So stick with me and let's see what comes out of it. It's obviously starting with a Stryfe as the base blaster, and I've got some bits from the boys over at Blaster Tech. I've got I think people know what's inside those boxes if you've had one. If you don't, an auto Stryfe kit. In this little bag here we've got some artifact goodies, and over here we've got some worker cosmetic hop-ups, bits and pieces. So I've also got a few other custom electronic bits and pieces I want to add into it. A couple of little tricks and little, like little touches that I want to add. So stick with me and have a watch the build and see how it turns out. Okay, so I hope you're enjoying this new weird ass camera angle. Alright, so I've got all the parts. I think I've got all the parts. So let's unwrap and sort of put together what bits we've got and elaborate on what we're actually doing. Obviously, to start with, I've got a Stryfe. I've got a brand new Stryfe through Tam Tran. So thank you, Tam, for the Stryfe with some new darts. Not that we'll use those right now, but I'll put those aside. I took the liberty of already cutting the strings to release the Stryfe. Okay, where do we go? Let's go to the Blaster Tech package. Now, from Blaster Tech, I got myself a 22 dart worker mag. I don't know whether I'll actually use it with this project or switch it out with another. I'm actually thinking I might use one of the, I think you guys call them PMag style magazines for this, and you may see why. Okay, so what did I get from Blaster Tech? I got these little buggers, 3 little honey badgers. So I've got some honey badger motors. The magazine we'll put aside for the moment. For those of you that haven't seen one of these, let's have a look at it. Okay, where are we here? Ooh, that's a worker 22 dart banana style mag. Nice. That'd go well in my AK. I might end up using that with my AK. And using the PMag with this. Depends. See how it looks. Alright, so I'll put that aside for now. Okay. A lot of people will actually recognise this box and know what it is. This is a auto Stryfe kit, which basically converts your Stryfe from being a semi-automatic to a fully automatic blaster. Basically, we'll set up a motor-driven gearbox that connects with a pusher, and it does revolutions and actually cycles the pusher backward and forward to load your darts. Now, it comes with a little 2AA battery holder, clip, etc. But what I'm actually going to be doing with this setup is running it on a little 2S lipo. That looks something like this. It's a little 1200 milliamp 30C lipo battery. So, and believe it or not, it already has the right plug to just plug in, and away goes your auto Stryfe kit. Now, not sure of whether I'm going to keep that motor in there or whether I'm going to swap that out with a Honey Badger. That is why I actually got 3, so that I have that option. I'm not after a ridiculous rate of fire on this blaster. I kind of want something that I can control a little bit more. Do little like 2 or 3 shot bursts, but then I can sort of do a bit of a strafe if I want to. So the rate of fire, we'll have to see what the rate of fire is like on that stock motor, and if it's good enough then I'll leave it. If not, if I want to increase the speed a little bit, I may put a Honey Badger in. I'm going to do a little, going to try a little trick with a 2-stage LED. What I actually want to do is have a like an ammo indicator. So when you have a dart in the top of your mag, the LED will show green. Now I'm not sure exactly where I'm going to mount this LED just yet. I was thinking about having it protrude through one of the holes on the jam door here. So when you're looking down the blaster, you can actually see the LED protrude through, and essentially it would show green when there's a dart in the magazine, and as soon as you actually run out of darts, it will turn red. So basically, as you're firing away, if you get to the end of your mag and your magazine's still sitting in there, rather than, you know, you come up to your next foe and hit him with an empty mag, your little red light will be on, so you'll be able to see as you're looking down the blaster at a glance. You'll be, oh, hang on, mag's empty, dump it out and throw another one in. So I'll show you how I'm going to do that as we go through, but there's the little dual stage LED. It does red and green and switches across, so that's another little thing I want to add. And this little jigger, which is not unsimilar to something that some of you guys would have seen on Rob from Southern Brisbane Nerf Club's build that he did, which essentially is, it's a battery indicator. Now, a lot of people are using voltage displays, which is great. It sort of gives you the voltage of your battery, but it doesn't really give you a level as to how flat the battery's getting, and if it's getting to a point where it's sort of no longer going to be viable and it needs to be switched out. Now this is a programmable battery level meter, which I've set to a 2S lipo, so when it's powered up, it actually if I can get the contacts into the little battery jigger, jerry rig this momentarily. Okay, it will give you the charge state of the battery. So it comes up saying that this battery is 100% charged, and as the charge goes down, as the battery gets flat, obviously that percentage will go down and your little battery indicator will go down. So I want to mount that on the blaster somewhere as well. Throwing things around. I'm thinking possibly where the Nerf logo is on this side, as long as it doesn't interfere with the magazine and what have you. I'll have to double check that and make sure that it's not going to interfere with any of the internals. But yeah, so little battery level indicator, so I want to put that on this one as well. Now this little parcel here, artifact gear, the artifact flywheel cage and flywheels, an artifact machined LE trigger, and the artifact machined aluminium mag release. So I want to run those in this blaster for something different. So yeah, so the plan is artifact flywheel cage running on Honey Badgers, 2S lipo, all the artifact trigger and mag release gear. Yeah, so that's auto conversion, blah blah blah. So that's your internals of this blaster, and then for the externals, the cosmetics of it. Let's just make a little bit of room here. As some of you guys would have seen on other videos, my favourite assault rifle is the SCAR.
So Spencer Wong, I believe his name was, from memory. Apologies if I've got that wrong. I purchased a Stryfe SCAR kit from him that he brought in, which I believe comes out of the worker camp, I think. Not 100% sure. So we've got the SCAR 3D printed kit. But Jodo, you do 3D printing, couldn't you have done your own? I possibly could have, but the design process, etc., involved would have been long, arduous, and painstaking. And this kit just looked so damn good. I thought, you know what? I'm going to get my hands on one of those and just use it. So, I'm going to fit the SCAR kit up to the Stryfe, and that's going to be the external look of the blaster. Is going to be a Stryfe SCAR. I have no idea how this sits, so I'm kind of making this up as I go. Does that go on? Yes. I've got a worker barrel, length of worker barrel to use to run through here, so I'll have to grab a length of that. And a muzzle brake. I will print my own. I'll have a look. Maybe, yeah, might just design and print my own muzzle brake. So, all right. So there we go. Now you have an idea of what the plan is for the build. So what we'll do is we'll go about pulling the Stryfe apart, gutting out all the crap we don't need, and go about starting to rewire, etc., etc. Obviously, got to make a few modifications to the battery tray so it'll accept the lipo and run the wiring through for that. Yeah. All right. Let's go about dismantling and making this happen. Okay, now let's see, this is a little dart lock that basically sits on top of your mag, and if there's no dart present, it drops down and it stops you being able to pull your trigger, along with every other lock of this bloody thing. So your pusher hits the back of it. Now, obviously that's not what we want in this particular case. And in fact, you know what, we really don't want any of this. So we're pretty much going to gut the whole thing out completely. Alright, while we're waiting for some other bits and pieces to, this is one of those PMAG style ones that I was talking about. I reckon that'll go really well with it, so I'm going to put that aside and hopefully we'll use that with the build. Alright, now, alright, in pressing forward, let's get some of these honey badger motors installed into this flywheel cage. Let's see how difficult this is. Okay, so this is the barrel end, which has got the little squared off recess. The tapered edge is your dart feed, so that will be the side that goes back towards the internals of the blaster. So with that in mind, we'll put the positive terminal forward on these. Okay, so they fit very easily into the cage. They just drop straight in, and the cage comes with the little screws, which are obviously to screw the motor into place. So let's get those. So they're in place now. Are these going to just press fit? Oh, it looks like they're just going to press fit. Centered. Alright. So that looks like the right spot. It's going to be dark. Alright. So that will sit in there. Alright, now the wiring of this. I'm going to use silicon wire. Now this won't sit down any further, it's right up against the plastic edges, so assuming that's as far down as it goes. Now as the wire routing section is at the top here, I think we'll wire it from the bottom up and try and run it through that top. Let's do that, and then we can work out the best way of mounting this switch. We might even get rid of this arm and just have the switch push straight onto the actual switch. It's not going to interfere with anything on the other side of the trigger, the handle. No, don't think so. Maybe this post, so we'll just trim that off. Doesn't go to anything. There we go. Avoid any future possible headaches. Okay. Might grab the helping handies. Let's make life easier. Okay, I went and 3D printed some bits to some of the finishes and what have you. So hence the laptop being here, which really doesn't need to be here anymore, so I'm just going to get it out of my way. Some of this wiring out of the way as well. Okay. Alright, so where are we? Now, I've got my lipo on charge. Okay, so what I did was I 3D printed a battery door for the battery tray. A slight expansion, just a small rise of like, I think it was about 6.5 mil, just to give it that little bit of extra width to allow the lipo battery to fit in there. And I just put the built by Jodo cast on it, just something different. And I figure if something's going to stand out, you may as well make it stand out for different reasons than just it looking different. So because the orange isn't a perfect match color wise, As you can see, I thought I'd go ahead and put the built by Jodo cast on there, and paint in the lettering and the white strip just to sort of try and blend it back a little bit better. So there you go. So that's a little expanded battery tray cover. We glued the micro switches into place, so I've got a much heavier micro switch in for the rev trigger and for the main trigger as well, so we can start doing the rewire. I need to get rid of this wiring here, so we'll strip. Give it a test run. Plug in lipo in, and that's correct. And the auto section fires as well. Okay, all good. Alright, so that's all. Is working as it should, which is good. Now, one of the other things I wanted to do was add this little battery display to the case. Now, very limited for space, so I'm actually going to have to mount this on the outside of the case, which isn't ideal, but I'm not left with a whole lot of choice. So what I'm going to do is just pop it up here. I need to make a bigger hole to pass the little wiring loom and what have you through, but I'm going to pop it up there and just sort of run it flush with the bottom edge of the little jam door, central to the jam door magwell section there, and then that'll run back to the battery. I might put a little switch maybe in here so that you can actually tool, and like a little bit noise warning. Now, rule with milling anything out is you can always take out more material. It's a shitload harder to put it back in, so don't go crazy. Always take out less, you can always take out more later. Okay, now there is a little adjustment button on the back of this that I'm going to have to mill out a little spot for as well. So I'm going to mark that with a non-existent marker. Right, so I've decided I'm going to put the little micro switch for the the battery meter on this left-hand side. It just made more sense to have all the wiring for it on one side, and then just the one wire bridge over to the power supply. So, so that's what I'm doing. Just got to mill out a little hole for it. So, the idea is that this will fit in here. Okay. For argument's sake, I have a micro switch here that I will okay. So we've got there, that goes on there, like such. So your little micro switch is there, it contacts it in the back here. Your wire can run up and through the hole, and then it will run through near the hinge. And down to the motors. Okay, so that sits there like that. So in theory, because we're all about theories, you have a dart in there, and a dart and the mags in, locked in. Your dart will depress the switch, and then when alright, due to the fact that we've got some parts being glued, namely the dart indicator switch and the little switch for the charge meter. I've also given the charge meter a coat of paint, so while we're waiting for all that to dry, we might call it a night, and we'll resume on the morrow and hopefully get a little bit more done tomorrow. Maybe even, if we're lucky, might even be able to get it finished. But we'll have to see how we go. Okay, so that display looks like it's going to hold in place now. Now I wouldn't mind, just for the sake of the exercise, testing it. Now, we do have a battery connection, so before we glue these wires into place, let's pop everything together. press this button, we should get an indication of our battery level. 97%. Put that aside. Now let's have a look at what we're doing here. Hopefully we're going to keep it out of the way. Don't need that for the moment. Or actually may not need it at all. Right, so yeah, we will need it. So I need to hook glue that little LED. To this position. There we go. Okay, so that's out the way. Okay. So read when you're empty. Feed a Maggie. Don't see in place. Okay. That's the plan. Okay. Let's get this bit here. Goes front here. The rest all goes in place afterwards, after it's all closed up, so let's string gets out the way. Put this in here. See if we can get all this to actually sit where it's supposed to. And it looks like it might even do that for us. So let's go about that stuff. Stryfe SCAR and go through and show you the features one by one and explain them all. Okay.
So there's the finished Stryfe SCAR. So we start with, we've got the battery meter, which has got the little push button that sits above where your hand grip is. You can just lift your thumb up, push the button, and it tells you your battery level. 95% charge, and away you go. You've got your artifact trigger, artifact mag release. And there you've got an artifact flywheel cage with the artifact flywheels. Now there's a little indicator LED up here that when you rev the when you rev the motors up, will light up either green or red depending on whether you have a dart loaded or not. So if you rev it up with no magazine in it, it's not showing up very well, but that actually lights up red. You can see that it's red. And when you load a magazine and you rev it up, it lights up green. Now, the idea behind this is that when you rev it up and fire, so can you see? Oh, now you can see it's gone. Now, if I rev it up and empty the magazine, okay, so now it's showing up red because we've got an empty magazine. So I'm going to rev it up, red. So now I've got an empty mag, and time to drop it out and change. Alright, so that's the battery level indicator. A little push button for that. The load indicator to let you know your load status. And then on this side I've just got my built by Jodo cast little battery expander tray to house the 2S lipo. And so that's it. There's my completed Stryfe SCAR. I haven't got my chrony available at the moment, so I might have to do a chrony test at a later date, but there you go. It shoots hard, as you could see, like from it hitting the door, the garage door, and the rate of fire is crazy. So there we go, my Stryfe SCAR finished. Thanks for watching. Cheers.